D-Day plus one's where we are. It's like after the longest day, June 6th, June 7th, now the real work began. And this is what I kind of equate this to where we are as far as our communities now in our nation. We're at D-Day plus one. Here's the work. The work's going to begin. What are we going to do? How are we going to do it? Let's make it happen. I'm going to get into this real quick, but first I want to put a disclaimer out. If you in any way take anything that I say ever and misconstrue it, I said misconstrue for a purpose, that I am anti-police or I'm anti-law enforcement, I'll just say right now you're wrong, and you need to go back and rethink how you perceive what I'm saying. Okay? I am absolutely 100% law enforcement, and I'm 100% public. The reason I am is because they're one and the same, and I'll talk about that in a second. But the police officers are part of the community. So, getting into this, we're in a really rough time right now. I equate it to a dysfunctional marriage. It's like a dysfunctional marriage. We got two people who are both abusers and being abused. You have the public that is heaping more and more requirements on police officers and law enforcement, saying you now need to be this, you need to be a psychiatrist, you need to be a doctor, you need to be medically trained, psychologically trained, physically trained, tactically trained. You need to be everything to everybody, and you need to do it well, 100%. I always say it like this, like in baseball, right? We think a batter is a superstar, make millions and millions of dollars if they can hit the ball 3 out of 10 times. 30% of the time they're successful at bat, and we love them. Police officers, if you're 98% successful, everybody's commenting on the 2% that you're not. All right, so that's just the way it is. If you don't like it, I say get out of law enforcement. But that's where you have to be. You have to be 100%. The public requires it because lives hang in the balance. Okay, but it's like that. The public requires more and more and more, but also says you need to do it with less. How do you do that? Then they're unhappy when police aren't 100% successful or completely competent in their duties. Same thing with police. Police say trust us, as we're seeing now, as they strike people in the face with baton rounds, or they pepper spray them, or they were killing unarmed people who were in handcuffs. How are the people supposed to trust that? No, there's nothing wrong. Well, that is something wrong, right? So what I say that this has happened is to create a castle siege mentality. The police are in the castle. They're defending themselves. Hey, we're doing this. Get back, get back. And the public's like, no, wait a minute. That's our place too. Why are you blocking us out? And it creates this mentality of us versus them. And so, my thing is that we have to work to stop that attitude, that mindset on both sides. And I'll talk about that in a second. I talk about it all the time with people. I say, don't give up on law enforcement. You don't understand. It's not 99.9%. We need to stop with that statistic because nobody believes it. But I'll tell you this, that police officers are out there trying to do the best they can. Some have really good skills and some have okay skills. But they're working at the top of their game, right? And people have different games. So you have to understand that. Because first and foremost, police officers are human beings. All right, road to recovery. What are we going to do? First thing I think we have to do is a mindset shift, right? We have to stop the us versus them mentality. Police are part of the community. Police live in the community. My problem is, where I grew up, a lot of the police officers didn't live in the community. And so it became this mindset, and I see it around the country when I train, is that the officers who don't work in a community, and if they happen to work in a community where the demographics of that community don't reflect them or they aren't part of it, they don't see themselves as part of the group, right? They just don't. And so what I've seen and I've heard, and we all have, and police officers out there, you've said it and you've heard it, is I hear this thing like, I feel like I work in a zoo and I'm just doing nothing but taming the animals all the time. Well, what we're doing there is we're now dehumanizing someone. We're making a group out to be non-human. And if we do that, we're not going to have the same investment, same level of care and concern as if we see them as equal to us human being wise, okay? Just something to think about. And so that's something that we've got to combat. That's law enforcement. You're the professionals, you're trained, you're equipped. You've got to be looking past that too. And if you have that mindset, figure out how you're going to change that, or get out of policing because you're not doing anybody any good. All right? So that's the first thing we got. We got to have the mindset change. That we're all human beings, we're all equal in this. We say that all the time. I hear it all the time. We're all the same. The all lives matter. Okay, I have my issues with why people are saying that as opposed to something else. But when we're saying that, we're all equal, but then we don't treat each other that way. So we got to stop saying we treat everybody's equal unless we're going to treat everybody equal. All right? Be honest. If you don't believe everybody's equal, just say it. I don't believe that. But be honest about it. 2, we got to change that warrior mentality to a guardian mentality. We're not warriors. Law enforcement, not warriors, not at war with anybody. But we talk about being a warrior, and we have the Punisher stickers on our cars, and we have all this stuff, and we have the tattoos that talk about war and talk about all this stuff, relating to policing, and that's not good for your mindset. So we got to change that mindset from a warrior mentality to a guardian mentality. You're protecting people. You're a steward. You're a community member. You're a liaison, okay? We're not at war with anybody. We're not even at war with the criminals, okay? We're just doing a job. We're keeping the peace. We're keeping people safe, all right? As part of the community. We got to drop the drawbridge, right? By that I mean stop the siege mentality. Now I know it. The public is this, okay, great. They're not the professionals. You are, right? Drop the drawbridge. Open up lines of communication. Start getting back to that feeling that we're all community. This is all of our place, right? This is everything. This is us, not them and us. Us. There's only us. So what are we going to do for that? Drop the drawbridge. Don't defend. When somebody says, hey, you're killing black people at an alarming rate, don't respond with, no, we're not. We kill more white people than black people. And show these statistics. It doesn't make anybody feel better. You're still killing unarmed people, okay? And whether or not that in that situation is justified, the public's not perceiving it that way. They're going, they're unarmed. Don't you have other skills? Don't you have other tools? Which you do. So they're wondering why this is happening like this. So rather than stopping and going, you're wrong, and defend it with this and that, listen. Just listen. It doesn't hurt anything. And so far the defending stuff hasn't worked, right? If you haven't noticed, it's not working. People aren't buying it. So let's just stop and listen. Right or wrong. Sometimes if all you do is acknowledge somebody when they're upset, you just acknowledge them. You don't have to agree with them. You don't have to put them down, condemn them or anything. Just listen. That's good enough. All right? You want to be heard. When you say police officers' lives matter, blue lives matter, when you say this is horrible that police officers are getting killed every year, you want people to listen. So you have to listen to them too, right? Right now we're just in this echo chamber where we just want to yell and hear ourselves, not anybody else. Understand the public is really hurting right now, and so what can we do to help that? 4, this is a long-term project. You and I, nobody in our generation is going to live to see the real results of our efforts. It's for our kids and our grandkids, okay? And I know that's why I do this now. Every time I'm doing something, I'm standing up and I'm putting myself out on the line, I see my grandchildren and that I want it to be better for them. Because I got grandchildren. I'm going to have 8 by the end of this year. I get 6 right now. So, that's what I'm doing it for. So let's think about that. It's a long-term project. It takes effort. I always say it's like a plane getting off the ground. It takes a lot of energy, a lot of force to get that plane off the ground. Once it gets off the ground, it's flying. It can maintain itself. It's more gliding, right? We can cut back on the power. But we need a lot of power right now, all right? It's like in marketing. Where we are right now is like in marketing. You want to know? Somebody's got to know you. They got to like you, and then they trust you to use your product or service. And that's where we are now. Is the public doesn't even know police, law enforcement anymore. They don't even know. It's so different from what they think that they don't even know. They have their perception, which is not the reality, but then they have the reality, which is not meeting what they want, their desire, their goals. So we've got to get them to know law enforcement again, which means dropping the drawbridge, open those channels of communication, get back out on the street, talk to people, learn, get to know names of people where you work, right? It's uncomfortable. It's going to be uncomfortable. People are going to be mad. They're going to be upset. They're going to be pissed. So what? What's the goal? They got to like you. Be nice. You can still enforce the law and be nice. Be a human being. Be personable. Lastly, they got to trust you. You want trust, but they don't even know you. So they have to go know, like, trust. Know that. All right? Hey, this has been quick. It's been down and dirty. I appreciate your time. Let me know. Hit me up. This site or my website or Facebook. Talk to you later.